Suppose that it is valued higher. Suppose that the person selling this project to me says the price is $180. For $180, you get $100 after the first year and $100 after the second year. Am I going to invest in that project? No way. It doesn't make any sense for me to do that. And the reason is that I can get the same cash flows, the same $100 at the end of the first year, $100 at the end of the second year, by investing in the zero coupon bonds. And they're only going to cost $170. So it turns out that the seller of this investment project is not going to have any buyers. So what is the seller going to do? The seller has to drop the price. And the seller will drop the price to $170. Now, it also goes the other way. Suppose that the seller of the project says, you can have this project for $160. So, if I think about that, $160 actually is a good deal, because that's way cheaper than paying $170 and getting the same cash flows. So I'm probably not alone in the market in figuring out that this is a good deal. So what's going to happen? Everybody's going to be bidding to invest in this project. And 160 is a good deal, but 161 is still a good deal. And so is 162, all the way up. And the price is going to go up until it hits $170. So by this idea of no arbitrage, or really no good deals, no great deals, that the price of the project today is going to be $170. The value of this project today is called the present value. Now, as I said earlier, I could give you a formula to calculate the present value. But it's much more important to understand the intuition behind the idea of present value. And the way that I've built this intuition is to consider cash flows that exactly replicate the project under consideration. Exactly replicate. The value of those cash flows that replicate the project must be the same as the value of the project by the principle of no arbitrage. Hence, the present value is simply the value of the replicating portfolio. In this case, it was a simple portfolio of 2 bonds. And the present value of the project is $170. Now, when you go through the lecture note, you'll notice that there are formulas for present value. And what we do is to take the cash flow next year and discount it back to present value. And really, all of this can be cast in the same framework as the replicating portfolio. So the $100 next year is going to be brought back to the present value. What is that $100 worth today? Well, we can figure out what the interest rate is by observing the zero coupon bonds. And the interest rate for the 1-year zero coupon bond is 11.1%. So if we take 100 and discount it back to the present by dividing by 1.111, we're going to get the value of 90, which just so happens to be the price of the zero coupon bond. And we'll do the same thing for the 2-year cash flow. We'll use the zero coupon bond to get the interest rate, which in this case is about 12%. Discount that back to the present, and the price is going to be $80. We take 90, add it to 80, 170. So the formula is giving us the exact same number as what we deduced by using the zero coupon bonds and creating the replicating portfolio. So this concept of replicating portfolio is going to be important in finance, because often it's the case that we've got very complicated projects with cash flows that change fairly dramatically through time. And it's difficult to actually value these projects by conventional methods. So one trick that people use is to create another portfolio of securities that are freely traded and prices are available. And this portfolio mimics the cash flows of this complicated project that we're trying to evaluate. And it turns out that this delivers the present value or the value of the project. So the idea of replication, the idea of no arbitrage are fundamental in valuation and fundamental to the intuition of present value. Now, I said I would talk also about future value. Future value is just what the cash flow is worth in the future. So if I've got a zero coupon bond that has 1 year to maturity, and the value today is 90, the future value in 1 year is 100. The present value is 90, the value today is 90, the future value is 100. The 2-year zero coupon bond, if the present value is 80, the future value is 100. So it's just a matter of where you look at the timing or the value, whether you're standing today, whether you're standing tomorrow, or next year. Now, one more thing on the replicating portfolio. The example of the project that I gave was an example where you knew the cash flows for sure. I said that there was a probability 1 that we would get $100 next year and $100 2 years from now. And therefore, we could look at the U.S. government zero coupon bonds and establish value. Now, most projects don't have the luxury of having cash flows that are known for sure. What do we do? Can we use this technique, or is this technique a special technique that's only relevant to an example with unrealistic assumptions? Well, you probably guessed that we can use the technique. Because the technique, if I show you a technique, it should be able to be generalized, or it's not that useful in deducing any intuition about the main concept. If the cash flows are risky, then we have to mimic the cash flows with bonds that have the same risk as the cash flows. So if we're not quite sure we're going to get $100 next year, then we can always use a corporate bond that has some risk that you're not going to be paid next year, rather than the U.S. Treasury zero coupon bond. So this is generalizable in terms of evaluating projects by this replication idea and the no arbitrage idea. So this is the essence of present value. This is the essence of future value. It is what we believe the project is worth today, given the interest rate environment, given the prices of other securities that we could potentially use to replicate the cash flows of this particular project. It's the value today that is the so-called equilibrium value, in that people are indifferent between buying the treasury bills or investing in this project. It is the present value.